What the hell's going on, everybody, and welcome into the What the Puck podcast. It's our first episode. I'm Nick, one of the hosts, and I'm joined here by my uncle Gunk, but he goes by Tommy too. Gunk, how you doing today, my man?
We are doing fantastic today. Nice sunny day. It's Phillies baseball, playoff baseball. And we got a Rangers Devils game tonight, which I'm super excited because we have the whole team playing tonight. Oh, we beat you the other night with half our team. We're putting the full team together tonight. What do you think is going to happen, Nick? You tell me.
They're gonna lose. The Rangers are gonna lose. They got their backups in to see who's gonna be backing up Igor tonight, and it's I'm not expecting anything. It's still preseason, but I'm excited for the game. Anytime you get to see Rangers and Devils play, it's always going to be an exciting time. Are they playing in? Are they playing at the Rock or are they playing at the Garden tonight?
They're at the Rock tonight.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have the MSG feed going here at the house, with the MSG Now Plus, which again I find ridiculous. Did you see how much they cost? $10 a game they were
Yeah.
talking about? Thank God Poppy Ferry's got some fucking from Fubu, because I'd be like, oh my God, I barely want to pay to go to a game, and now I'm gonna pay $10 just to watch it on TV. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I swear to God, these cable companies now are just trying to fleece you. I swear, it's so ridiculous.
It really is because I should just be able to. I should be able to like if you're gonna broadcast it on a channel, at least give me the channel. Like there shouldn't be that much issue with just giving me the channel to watch it on, or giving me some way to watch it. Like I should be allowed to watch your team in some capacity, even if it's not through an official broadcast.
Oh, absolutely. And again, if you look on like Reddit and stuff, you see so many of the pirated ones. But I'm so afraid to like even do stuff like that with, especially with the NFL games. With the Patriots being out of market, and that's the only games really I would want to watch. Again, I'm not paying YouTube TV, $80 a month plus on top of it $300 to $400 just for the package. I mean, football is getting ridiculous. I mean, with that kind of stuff. Like I said, the MSG thing is ridiculous and they don't want to do they even want to be a cable company anymore? They're just anybody that's not them, they just don't help out. And they got to realize that other people around this country are fans and they want to find local sports. And sometimes they move out of market. You got a lot of, Florida people, Arizona people, older people who were fans, in I was going to say the 30s, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And, they move away because they, especially in this market, with New York, New Jersey, even Connecticut with the high tax prices around here and stuff, they want to, move somewhere nicer, somewhere warmer. And they want to watch their teams. They want to watch the Yankees, the Mets, the Rangers, Devils, Islanders, Knicks, Nets. They want to watch these teams. And it's ridiculous that they try to fleece somebody just because their team is an out-of-market team.
I mean, if anybody wants to pay to watch the Yankees and Mets, they deserve to get fleeced. Because, I would never pay to go. I would never pay to watch that team on TV unless it was some kind of special thing. I would never pay to watch the Yankees or Mets. But I can understand what you're saying. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's way too many different streaming services now that trying to even pick one it seems so overwhelming and daunting to just try to sit down and find something to watch. Because there's never even anything on TV anyway on regular cable, and even that's a streaming service.
Yeah, everything is all a streaming service now, and it's like I said, you pay for one service just to have channels. Like I said, I pay for the Sling, and I pay $45-$50 a month, and all I want to do is watch Red Zone for 3 months of the year. That's the only thing I put Sling on for, is to watch Red Zone 3 times a year, because I don't have the YouTube channel or the Sunday Ticket now. I can't catch my out of market Patriots games. It's ridiculous. That's why I don't mind them getting blown out by the freaking Cowboys, because at least I get to watch it on TV.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't care if they get embarrassed by the Eagles. It was on a national broadcast. At least I could watch it. Hey, they're gonna, this week is gonna be a red zone kind of week, So it's like you got to look at your phone. You got to look at the score. Look at what red zone's doing. For me, I just find it ridiculous. I mean, like I said, what happened to the old school? It was on, Channel 4, Channel 5, and when you want highlights, go to ESPN. And you can't even watch ESPN no more because they're throwing all the, politically correct and woke stuff down your throat. I mean, it's just, it's unwatchable sometimes. And of course, well,
it's all about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, man. It's all about Kelce and Swift, man. The Swifties are joining football.
Oh my God, with that ridiculous. When I saw that in the first Chicago game, I was like, "Are you serious?"
She was at
I'm like,
MetLife the other day.
I know. I was driving by. I said I was as close to Taylor Swift as anybody, probably except for in the stadium. I was excited. I was like, "Oh look, I'm driving by the stadium where Taylor Swift is. Look at me, I'm special." Ugh, disgusting. She is. Did you ever watch the South Park episode with the succubus? She is the old. She is turned into the succubus. She's gonna suck that guy dry and move on to the next one, and then write a song about him, dude. And then you got to look on TikTok. There's a hilarious page called I think it's called Now I've Ruined It. It's something like no, Now I've Ruined It.
The music guy,
They already, huh?
the guy that does all the music and stuff.
Yes, if you go in there already, I've already seen he's already done one where they're gonna break up, and it was fucking hilarious. It was talking about like I was down at the 50 doing this, and I was down to 40 doing this, and then somebody threw a flag on me. It was, God, whoever's listening to this, I don't care right now. Like I said, this is our first broadcast, but go check this guy out. He's not paying me for anything because nobody wants to get paid for this right now. Go to his site. He has the most hilarious TikTok, I feel, on TikTok because the songs he makes is ridiculously fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I know who you're talking about. But if we're talking about TikToks, you guys should definitely just take a quick moment, go check out at What the Puck Pod on TikTok for us real quick. Give us a like on some of our content. Give us a nice follow. We'd really appreciate it. And I wanted to go back to something we were talking about with Red Zone and everything. Did you hear the news from last night that the NHL wants to test out like a Red Zone kind of thing?
See, that'd be actually I would be down with that, especially like when the Devil's not on. I would totally throw that on every night.
Yeah,
like this.
They're gonna be and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No problem.
They're going to be trying it October 24th when all 32 teams are playing. It's going to be an ESPN broadcast. They're having John Buccigross be the host of it, which I think is fucking awesome.
No, that I that's actually, like I said, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. And if they could throw that on like an ESPN Plus, where it is not, all right, yes, I pay for the service for ESPN Plus to watch the National Devils games and stuff like that, because that's what I basically pay ESPN Plus for is, nationally televised Devils games, like their first game against Detroit coming up in say 8 days now, which is like,
yeah,
can't believe we've come up to the season already. It's ridiculous. But again, I would totally, again, if they're all 32 teams are playing, like I said, I will watch the Devils game, of course, but maybe afterwards, if what'd you say? I'm sorry. What day was that?
It's going to be October 24th. I believe it's a Tuesday. It is a Tuesday, yeah.
Well, that's actually fun. Like I said, that's even something I would throw on even at work. Just throw it on the ESPN Plus, and watch the West Coast games because most of those start at 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I could sit there and go red zoning, well, whatever, open ice, whatever the hell they're gonna call it, but. Because it sounds like that'd be the perfect thing is open ice or something like in the crease or.
It's a dumb name, Gunk. I'll be honest with you. It's called Frozen Frenzy, bud. That's a dumb name. Frozen Frenzy.
Dude, that's a fucking terrible fucking name. Frozen Frenzy?
I saw that and just went fucking yuck. They found a way to ruin it so fast with that dumb name. They had so many opportunities, and they picked Frozen Frenzy. It sounds like a college tournament.
It is terrible. That is a terrible name.
Yeah, it's egregious. Like you said, so bad.
Like you said, you got MLB who does Strike Zone, that sounds like a really cool name. I like Strike Zone. Of course, NFL with the Red Zone, that's been around forever now. It's even though, like I said, it feels like that's like new. Red Zone has been around for at least 15 years, and I've enjoyed it every year ever. The only time when we had the 1 year when we had the package when old Papa Ferry bought the package when he had DirecTV.
Yes.
But excuse me. But yeah, like and even NBA has like League Pass or something. But Frozen Frenzy, seriously, come
Yeah,
on.
it's like they couldn't have picked anything better. They had so many better opportunities. Like they could have just called it NHL Power Play and been fine. I feel like that's a
Oh,
much better name.
Power Play is perfect. That's a great name. Or like you said, Open Ice, because I know they used to have something with the Open Ice name.
Yeah, they used to it used to be their unlimited package for the different cable networks and everything. They
Right.
used to have every channel for every game.
Yes, I do remember that. Right, right. That was the one that was on DirecTV.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes. All right. Let's stop bashing big corporate here for a minute and let's get into some hockey, baby. What are we
Yes.
thinking?
I got a bit of a question for you that I started to raise to you the other day, and now that we're talking, I like to bring it up to you. What is a move or play that you haven't seen anymore in hockey, or like something that you haven't seen in a while? Because I was playing some NHL 23 today, and I was I scored a goal and I popped the goalie's water bottle off the net. And I was just sitting there thinking, and I was like, that looks so cool. Yet I never see players do it anymore because of the way the goalies have it strapped to the back of the net on the back post.
Yeah, that I know the water bottle move was a big thing like 10 years ago. Every highlight you would see, they'd be popping that water bottle off the top of the net. But again, with it strapped down now, you don't see it anymore. I mean, yeah, in games, like you said, in like video games and stuff, you do, that's like one of the achievements is to pop the water bottle off there or something like that.
It's
And
not anymore.
oh, it's not anymore,
No,
really.
on
Shit.
for NHL 23 on the Xbox, it's not an achievement. I was actually surprised. It normally is.
I, so I'm very surprised by that because I thought I've done it on the game before, but maybe I didn't. And again, but you're right though. That is one move that it used to be a big highlight thing, but now it's like it's really mute now. But yeah, let's see. It's like a play that I don't see anymore in hockey. That you know what I really and this goes back and yes, it's a safety thing and all that. It's the nets over the fans. As a kid, I would want to go to a hockey game because it was like a baseball game. You thought, hey, I have a chance to get a hockey puck, official hockey puck, that was played on the ice over the glass, and you try to get it. You scramble. Me as a kid, remember, they used to like scramble for these things. The puck would, or even at like during pregame, the guys would just chuck the puck, just chuck a puck over, just flip it up to like kids that are sitting in the front row or all how they gather down at the at the glass and stuff. And again, like I said, I understand right now 2023 going into 24, it's a safety thing, it's all that, but I feel like one incident's not going to ruin every game because every arena has it right now. I feel like they should take those nets down. Take the nets down, give the fans a treat. Let them interact with their players more, especially because hockey players are one of the best. Are the I think the best to their fans compared to other sports. I would go hockey number one for their fans, baseball number two, and then football and basketball kind of like 3, 4. Just because again, football and basketball have really elevated in this country where the players, it feels like to me that feel like some of them just feel like they're just a high and mighty and just don't want to, help out fans anymore, which I feel like hockey and baseball, like I said, hockey number one, definitely. But again, we've been to games. You've seen the kids down there and they just throw balls up, throw them up to the fans. They sign for kids and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the one time we were at the Mets Phillies game and you almost got a ball.
You're gonna bring that up again. I knew going into this you were gonna bring that up. Yes, people out there. Your man Gunk right here in this same jersey. Go Phils. Got a baseball and handed it to a kid who I thought wanted a baseball because she looked sad. I handed it to her, and then this guy that's down here or to the side, whoever he is, on my phone he's down there. He laughed at me and said, "Why'd you do that?" And I said, "Well, it's a kid." And he goes, "You know she has a ball in her hand, right?" And my
If,
heart
I mean,
effing dropped. I got scammed by a freaking 12-year-old who had a baseball already in her hand, and I gave her
that
another one.
that she
I couldn't
showed
bring that
multiple
home. I couldn't bring
times.
that home for my kid.
I saw the ball at least 3 to 4 times because she was standing like right in front of us a couple times. So I was like, oh, there's no way he didn't see that because like she barely even went for it. So it was just kind of like, I was like, all right.
You know what that's called, Nick? And you'll know this when you get older, my friend. That's called being an adult. No, not being an adult. I'm sorry, because you're an adult. That's being a dad. You get that dad mentality right away when you see a little kid that you think that is going to be upset. And I know with my kid, like I said, if somebody did that for my daughter, I'd be so grateful to them and so happy for them. But yeah, I went into dad mode for like 5 seconds and didn't realize that like she had another ball in her hand. So yeah, that's a good story we could always bring up.
It'll definitely be
Yes,
brought up again.
as much as I am a craphead, a hole, trying to keep it little PC, trying to keep it clean a little bit. A hole, uh, D bag. Yes, I do have a heart there sometimes.
Oh,
Yes, I
absolutely.
do.
We all do. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. As we know from our hangouts, we are all that. But yes, we all have deep down great hearts in our side. And
Yes.
for that moment, I got suckered. I can't even say nothing. I got suckered.
I
Lesson learned.
lesson learned. Don't trust kids, folks.
Don't trust them. Don't
Don't trust
trust
kids.
kids. Do
Don't
not trust kids.
don't trust children at baseball games. Fun fact. Uh, but yeah, the with the netting and everything, I feel like as much as I agree with you, I feel like hockey fans are the issue because like with the a lot of incidences of like racial issues that happen between fans and players, I feel like having a bit more of a barrier between them could prevent that, but I feel like even then it's not going to do much. So I feel like while it does feel like yeah, the nets are a bit too much, I feel like there's enough there to like limit how much the fans can really interact with the game in that regard because like certain fans are absolutely crazy at games. So like I feel like being able to limit that would be kind of what teams are looking for cuz like there's still ways for the pucks to go over the glass and go into the crowd. So I feel like there's still like that. So like I feel like there's other more main concerns besides like play like safety of play. I feel like fan safety towards the players needs to be looked at more so than anything rather than like player safety to the fans. Cuz like
See, I can agree with you on that point, which is fair. Like you said, yes, I agree. The safety of the fans is one of the most important things you want to go. You don't want, especially those pucks travel 100 miles an hour. They to get tipped, they're still doing 80, and they hit some poor kid in the head and kill him or something. I understand that. I just don't. All right, so why is the net all the way around? If you're worried about, say player safety, again, interactive with the fans in a negative way, you just say, why isn't there a net around the benches? They still have that smaller glass around that benches. Still makes it easier to get if you want to say something derogatory or racial or whatever you want to do towards one of the players. They don't have that net around there, and those tickets that don't have the net around are the club seats. They're the way more expensive seats. So I feel like people that are paying maybe like $50 for a corner seat down, say like at Prudential, say like section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and around one of the nets, is not going to be able to get over that glass because the glass is so tall already. It's not going to be able to get over that glass where the net stops in the corners, and then you have full on no netting across where the most expensive seats are. And also, as I said, I feel like they didn't put those nets around there because they want those people that paid more money to get a better experience and not look through a net. Where somebody that sits in, say, section 11 and is in row like 20 is going most times are looking through a net. I mean, yes, it's a very mesh net, but still, I just feel like they're trying to help out people that pay more. So again, I feel like as a, they don't need the nets around. Either do it all the way around or take it away.
Then I raise you a question for how a different sport does it. How do you feel with how baseball teams do it, where if balls go foul, they have netting along there to protect fans that have gotten hit from like bats and balls and stuff that have gotten tipped foul? Like, do you feel
Now,
it?
see,
Like,
no, I was gonna say, yeah. Now I feel like that's a different thing. Just because, again, most players are in dugouts, and you're the scale is lower, say like on the sides in a dugout, and also if you ever look at around most baseball fields, they have the lower walls where the wall is not as high. So people, if they want to get crazy, have a chance to jump over those sides. Where in these NHL games, you have the boards that are so high, and then you have the glass that's so high. I mean, you would have to be Spider-Man to jump over, say, in a corner to try to mess with a player or something. And again, you see everybody hitting the glass when people go into the corners and stuff. If they're on the opposite team and stuff, it's still a distraction, but it's still, you're still going to be able to interact, in a negative way if you want to. And also, again, there's a-holes out there. They're going to find a way between beer, whatever else they're on. They're going to find a way to be negative or try to mess up a game any way possible.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing to have to think about, because like you really shouldn't have to think about it, because people should know how to behave themselves in that regard. But I mean, like you said, once beer or anything else that they may be on gets involved, you never really know. So I guess I can understand. I see both sides to it. It's just I guess because I always grew up at a time where I always had the netting, it'd be a weird concept to see it just taken away.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Like I said, being a little older, I remember the days when you used to go to the old CAA, Continental Airlines Arena, and there was no netting, and they would just, and again, guys would just shoot the puck up, just give it a little flick up over the nets for the kids and stuff, and they were able to even reach over and just drop it even over the top of it. So, and it just feels like, especially nowadays with kids, you want to build the fan base up. And like I said, with Maddie, and like I said, I built her up because of the excitement of the game, the, going to it, the excitement of it. And like I said, I feel like if she wants to have that interaction, she feels like she can't right now, because she's like, well, I don't want to go down there and be crowded for no reason. If you have a chance, even a inkling to get a puck or get a baseball, say in baseball, you want to get to the stadium or the arena early. Those kids want to be there. And that just gives them the full experience of, hey, maybe I have a chance to get something from the game that I'm going to treasure forever. And like I said, and that's where I feel like it builds fans. Like that kind of thing builds fans up, especially the younger generation, where unfortunately, hockey's still number 4 in the major sports. You figure you would want more fan interaction. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong. They, and especially, like I said, I'm only going by my experiences at like Prudential and stuff. Yes, they have a great, on the concourses, they have great interactions now and stuff. And even even the other day I read about the Devils. I think they took down the Devil's Den. That's right in that, as soon as you come up the stairs.
Okay.
That they took that Devil's Den out and they made it like a social media interactive place and stuff. And they're updating the Wi-Fi at Prudential and getting a higher 5G in there. So, it's going to be a little easier to access for, like said, like people that want to interact on social media or do TikToks and stuff. It's going to be a lot easier for them to do it at Prudential now. And like I said, but I feel like the actual experience should be when you walk down those stairs and get to your seat. That's where I think the interaction should start.
Okay, I definitely think that's fair because yeah, I feel like walking like once you show the security whoever's standing there doing security, you show them your tickets and you walk through the curtain there at Prudential and you start walking to your seats. That's when it really finally hits you that it's like, wow, I'm at a hockey game.
Exactly. Like I said, the first time I saw Maddie, like I said, this was, I mean, we went to a game. She was, I think, 5 or 6. I think she was. It was a couple years ago, I'll just say. And they have the interaction, like, during the, the intermissions and the stoppages of play and TV timeouts. They had the fun interaction with the kids. But like the first time she opened, like you said, got the tickets, opened the curtains, and looked at it, she was amazed. She's like, "Oh my God, this is so great!" And maybe that was a little nugget, now 4 years or 3 years from ago, where now she's one of the biggest Devils fans around. That's all she talks about with me is Devils, Devils, Devils this, Devils that. And again, don't get me wrong, they're good now. So I'm not gonna say nothing because she's around, but she's kind of a bandwagon fan right now because they're really good.
She got lucky.
She wasn't watching it, 3 years ago with me when they had, Mike Cicero or whatever. They didn't have Gustav. They didn't have Gustav, or no, they didn't have Schlemko and Gustav on the team.
2018 was a long time ago.
It was painful. Like I said, after Sunday, I was so cleansed to watch the Devils game Monday night, to watch the Devils Islanders game after that 38-3 shellacking we took from the Cowboys. It was like I literally told my wife, I was like, I need a palate cleanser. That is why we're watching this game. I don't care if it's preseason. And thank God for the Devs. They gave me a nice palate cleanser.
Yeah. They always give me a stomach ache. But
I mean, again, I know I hate to toot the horn of the Devs, but their top 9 is ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
When you could throw Dawson Mercer is scheduled to be the third line winger. Dawson Mercer, who scored 25 goals last year?
Something around that.
You're gonna put him with Hala and Palat on your third line. Not even the top line. That third line is probably anybody's second line.
Yeah.
Then you hit in the top 6. I mean, the Bratt, Toffoli, and Hughes line the other night against the Islanders was ridiculous. And they're just starting this preseason. They're just getting going. When they start gelling and hitting that they did the other night with the tic-tac-toe pass and they did, I don't know how they're stopping this team. It's gonna be a lot of shootouts, I feel, especially with Vanacek and Schmidt still not settled into the who's gonna be who's 1A, who's 1B and stuff. There's no set, number 1 on the team. That's gonna be your only concern right now. But like I said, offensively, defensively, you're gonna have a little struggle with the young kids and the mixture of the older players now, the vets and stuff. But again, you go that top 9, it's comparable to Edmonton. It really is. It's like forward lines, Edmonton, Devils, 1-2.
Yeah. I could easily agree with that. I think that's a pretty solid take there. Because you're just never beating out McDavid unless you got him on your team. You're not beating him out on that. That'll always be the top line.
Oh no! I was reading an article yesterday about the Russ. How about Ross? Art Ross Trophy finalists. They're predicting for this year. They have McDavid, Hughes, and I think it was Nathan McKinnon.
Okay.
As their top 3, and McDavid, if he goes off again, nobody's touching him.
Yeah, and I feel like he is going to go off again. I really feel
Oh,
like unless he gets hurt or anything, which knock on wood, whatever you got to do,
yeah,
let's hope
absolutely.
that don't happen.
You never want to see good play. You don't want to see any player get hurt,
Exactly.
and you don't want to see any player get hurt. Yes, like I said, being a Devils fan, and you know, you're like, oh god, I hope fucking Panarin breaks his neck. But it's only in jest. You never want something like that to happen. To even on another team, you really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it's always rough to see anybody get hurt because like at the end of the day that like you could put yourself in that situation and just think how would I like I could be experiencing that right now. So it's always just claps to them because I could never.
Absolutely.
I'm I'm 21 and I got knee pain. I could never imagine taking some of that.
Oh, imagine being 46 and having a bad hip. So
Ugh.
try that. Try that on for size.
Oh well.
uh, anyway, I was reading some quotes the other day from one of the Rangers games that that Laviolette he had some concerns about the work ethic of the Rangers this year. One of the questions that was brought up on one of the articles was, do you think they need to make some changes, some maybe personnel changes to, change that culture of the team? That again, a lot of people were concerned about his comments already, not even, a week into the preseason.
I I feel I feel like the first 5 games of the regular season are going to be very telling of what this team is going to be like. I feel like you're really going to see, and even in like the next couple preseason games tonight and tomorrow against the Bruins, like you're going to see what this regular season team is going to be starting off with, and like you're really going to see a lot of the flaws and cracks in this roster. I feel like if you do start seeing that, that's when you start making personnel moves. But honestly, I don't even know where you would start for this team because like there could be so many different things that this team could have going on that they need to change that I feel like they wouldn't even be able to adapt to anyway if they made the change because like any change they struggle to adapt to. But honestly, I feel like in terms of work ethic, I feel like some of the more like solidified younger guys on the team need to get sent down to the AHL for a little bit. Like Alexi Lafreniere does not need to make this team on opening day. I don't feel like he does.
Wow,
I don't feel like he deserves the spot, honestly. Because
wow,
like
that
you looked at somebody, you're watching somebody like Brennan Othman, like another first round pick. I mean, granted, he wasn't first overall, but like from what I've seen in the 2, maybe 3 games of a preseason that he's played for the Rangers, I've loved his play so much more than the what's it going to be now 3, 4 years of Loff for this Rangers team, where he hasn't really done much. I mean, like he was the third best on the kid line a couple of years ago during the playoffs for the Rangers when they went to the conference final, and like I feel like he's still the third best kid out of that line because like Heedle's still obviously the best. He's like he could if the Rangers didn't have Trocheck, Heedle's the second line center, and then you have Kako, who I feel is still improving and is still pretty good. I mean, second overall. We all know who went first that year, but
luck of the draw, my friend. Luck of the draw.
and I
And,
I
and
really
you know what? And just quick point. And it's sad too for him because now he's always gonna. It's almost like a Manning Ryan Leaf kind of thing. He's always gonna be compared to Jack, and I again coming from where I am, I'm happy, but it's not fair. It really isn't fair to him to have that 1-2 comparison because so far in their careers, he's gonna be the second person in that conversation. And
absolutely.
again, he's a really good player, and I feel like he doesn't deserve that kind of disrespect. Like I said, I've watched him all year last year. I watched him in the playoffs against the Devils, and like I said, he's a good player, but yes, he's not Jack. He doesn't have the the firepower. He doesn't have the skill as Jack does, and it's really crappy that he has to be compared, with him because he should be his own player.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of that debate just stems from, oh, it's Rangers and Devils, like that got the players. But like even then, I feel like it's not fair to these kids that are just trying to make it into their professional careers as hockey players to have all that pressure on them of, oh, I need to perform because if not, it's this other guy that's going to get everything. Like I feel like that shouldn't be the way it is because I feel like it definitely hurt his development a lot because I feel like he had to like try to one up everybody and he was getting so nervous trying to have to one up everybody that he just lost a lot of his own confidence in what he could do. So he just really I feel like a lot of Kako's issue was he was overthinking a lot of things a lot of times along with, and he's been doing it in a lot of the past couple off seasons. He's been getting stronger, he's been getting faster, and I feel like that strength and speed to his game is really going to help him because you could see with some of the plays he made during the preseason in the past couple of games, he's got that hockey IQ that he needs. A second overall pick is always going to have that hockey IQ. That's not something that's going to just leave you. But you could see he's working. You could tell he wants to be that second overall pick that this team chose him for. That you really didn't see much of, but with the COVID shortened seasons and everything, it's understandable that his progress may have been stipend a little bit, may have been shortened. But even then, you look at some of the players from that draft class, you could see where they're at compared to him. And it's just like, where's the disconnect? But you do have to give him some of the benefit of the doubt because while he's not scoring goals like a lot of people pinged him to be when he was drafted, he still makes some super nice plays out of most of the players on the Rangers.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Totally.
like you just see the way he can drive the ice with the puck sometimes through the neutral zone into the offensive zone. It's just you'll see him make a pass across the ice and it's just like I would never see that even if I was on the ice, like even if like I was watching the game, I wouldn't be able to see that.
Right. No, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, like I said, he's a really good player. And I think the other thing is with that is he's also a foreign-born player. So, he's coming into another country. He's only been here a few years. Where kind of Jack, he's an American kid. He's been around the American system, especially during those COVID years where, there was a lot of restrictions on everything. And, Hughes and other American-born players, even Canadian-born players, have that North American, mindset where, a lot of the foreign players don't have, they have more of a European, mindset about, just living life in general. And maybe just need to get comfortable after this, after the COVID thing to, build his confidence up, like I said, but I watch him play and like I said, I'm amazed by him. And again, yes, I will poop on him, but again, I skill is skill, and he's got the skills to be a really good player in this league.
Absolutely, and I feel like he has that opportunity to do it with the Rangers. I just feel like with where the right side is for the Rangers, it could get a little bit clogged up because you do have to split it between you have Othman, you have Loff, you have who's going to be their fourth line right wing, probably I don't even know, Pitlick or something. I don't even. The fourth line is whatever. The fourth line used to have Ryan Reeves, and that's when I cared. Once Ryan leaves, once Revo left the Rangers, that's when I stopped.
Yeah, they got to list his Pickman as one of the fourth line lines.
Okay.
With Bonito, they got Bonito. Well, and Vesey. I haven't seen Vesey this year, at least in any of the preseason games.
I saw him early on. He played a couple of the early games, but I'd expect him to just immediately make the roster anyway. He was super solid for the Rangers, which is really funny. I always make the jokes. I love Jimmy Vesey, man. He's a decent player for what he does. Like even when he was playing for the Devils for like the cup of coffee that he played with them for, like
yeah.
it was pretty good to watch him play because like when he first entered the league, that's when it was really exciting, but it was just kind of like, oh, he's here, and then he just like he was always around hockey, but you never really saw him after he left the Rangers the first time until he came back recently.
Listen, again, I'll go with comparison to football. I feel like Jimmy Vesey's kind of like a Terrell Pryor.
Okay.
He wasn't drafted. He had to go in a supplemental draft, just like kind of Vesey when he was younger was like, oh, I'm going to choose which team I want to go to. I want to make the choice because I think I'm this good. And it just didn't pan out for him. But again, solid player, really good player. Like I said, yeah, I did enjoy him when he was on the Devils for that year. And like I said, but again, that was also a really low Devils team. So he was going to be thrown right in. A lot of injuries that year. I think Palmieri was hurt that year too. And again, that was one of those years it just fell apart for us. But again, he was a solid player for us, I feel like.
I mean, he's not Devils legend David Schlemko, as we keep mentioning, but...
And you're going to hear that a lot on this podcast,
absolutely.
By the way. If you're gonna like and subscribe to this podcast, you're gonna hear a lot about the Schlemko. That is one of our favorite players of all time. The What the Puck with Nick and Gunk podcast is a David Schlemko approved freaking podcast, man.
Absolutely. We are absolute fans of David Schlemko over here, and if you don't like it, sucks, sorry.
He was the original number 7 on the Devs before Dougie came in.
Retire that number.
Oh, it's well. You're gonna see some retired numbers in this lineup, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And again, they're just getting started. So I do have one little question, and I want to know how you feel about this.
Lay it on me, baby.
I was thinking about this. So I'm watching the Devils Islanders game Monday night. It's an exciting game. I mean, like regular season intensity kind of game. 6-5, Brett with the hat trick, the tic-tac-toe pass to Hughes. I mean, just outstanding. And I was sitting there thinking, like, all right, I watch others. Again, we all watch other sports. We watch football. We watch baseball. We watch basketball, hockey, and everything. And for something just kept pop in my head was, it seems like hockey has the most exciting preseason action of any sport that's out there. A lot of their play, I mean, yes, you do get people that rest up and stuff and everything. But most of the time, if you're going to a preseason game, you're going to see the stars of the NHL. I mean, yes, they won't play 30 minutes like they normally do, but, they'll play 15, 20-minute shifts and, games and stuff on time on ice. And I just feel like hockey, compared to other sports, has the best preseason. What do you feel about that? Like I said, to me, football is unwatchable sometimes. Baseball is unwatchable.
Most times I don't even know other, preseasons are happening. I won't really, there won't be that much coverage on them. I feel like there's a lot more coverage on hockey preseason compared to other sports, honestly, from what I've seen. But, honestly, I think it's just I think it's a fun experience. I think because hockey fans are so devoted to the sport and to the game, they're just itching to get back to see live hockey as soon as they possibly can once the cup is awarded. So they're honestly just biting at any opportunity to spend their money on their favorite hockey team. So I feel like that's a big reason as to why. But I also just feel like it's exciting to see for certain teams, like if your team got the first overall pick, like with Chicago, like they have Bedard now. So I want to go see preseason Bedard where he's just destroying AHL teams that are being put on the ice right now. So right. It's nice. It's a nice, fun, exciting way to see what could this team, if it's a younger team, it could be I could potentially be seeing what this team looks like in 6-7 years from now. I could potentially get a different idea of what I'm in store for with this team, but I also get to see what I get to experience now. So I just feel like you get a lot of different opportunities to see a lot of different things with preseason hockey compared to other things, because a lot of the young players in the NHL that are coming in to their first, second years are super celebrated compared to other first overall picks in other sports. I never hear about first overall picks in baseball or basketball or anything unless it's a super big name. The next time I'll hear a first overall draft pick in basketball is when Bronny Jr. gets drafted.
Right. That yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, I don't even remember who even like was the first overall pick in basketball at all.
Yeah,
And baseball, they have like said like the college they draft them out of high school. I
yeah.
mean, and you're not seeing. I mean, first overall picks even in baseball take 5 years at least to develop.
Mm.
So you're not even going to see them on any kind of field for at least 5 years, or say 4 years if they're really a high prospect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's I just feel like hockey just has like the most, and again, it's the most exciting. It's the most intense. I feel like the other sports are kind of like going through the motions when they're in a preseason game. Where I feel like hockey is more intense. It's still got that. It's not as intense, but it's still got that same feel as like a regular season game.
There's there's always a feeling of something that needs to be played for when it comes to hockey, because with the preseason it's a lot of players that like are fighting for a job, because they're fighting. Even if it's a fourth line spot, that's still a spot on an NHL roster, potentially making NHL money to help them out. So like they're gonna fight to do whatever they can to make sure that they can get this opportunity. So like I feel like that's I feel like that's another way that like the players have been able to help it. They've been able to make it exciting by just allowing them to feel like there's something worth it coming out of the preseason, rather than just, oh, we're warming up to get ready to try to make the playoffs. I feel like that's where a lot of issues come up in a lot of different sports. It's okay, this is just warm up for the playoffs, and if we don't make the playoffs, it's a bust of a season, we move on. So I always feel like in hockey there's something to be played for compared to other sports, so I feel like that's what makes it so exciting.
All right. Absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. And again, we're coming down to the end of preseason, just less than a week away. We are less than 1 week away, actually, from opening night,
Yeah.
which we have a triple header that night. I mean, we have pretty good teams that night. We have we got the Predators in Tampa Bay at 5:30, which is a weird schedule time. How do you feel about that 5:30 in the afternoon for the first game of the season? I mean, I can understand because the Western Conference team won the cup, so you want to have them raise their banner on national TV. I can understand that. And you're not going to get that Seattle Vegas game until 10:30 at night. But a 5:30 start, I mean, I kind of feel like, a lot of people are not going to watch that game, just maybe the rabid fans that are waiting for their first regular season game, because again, a 5:30 start, a lot of people are just leaving work at 5:30, and they're going to miss a lot of that, miss a lot of the game trying to get home. If they have kids, they got to settle their kids in and stuff like that. I just feel like a 5:30 start for that game is it. I mean, yes, you need it because everyone's gonna be on that Bedard versus Sydney game at
Yeah.
8 o'clock. I know I can understand that's the main game of that schedule, but a 5:30 start, I would feel like just ESPN. How about just don't play that game? Start it
Yeah.
at 8. Do a doubleheader, and you'll have way more viewership. I feel like with those two games instead of stretching it out to 3.
There's also going to be the issue, and you brought it up with people like coming home from work and everything. There's not going to be that many people at the game. The Tampa Bay Rays just had the issue yesterday. They couldn't even fill up. They couldn't even get to 80% capacity for their first playoff game because
Right.
the game was at 3:30 in the afternoon. Like nobody's going to be able to make it there. People have work. So
Right.
like it's just a weird time, and like that's the second Tampa Bay team to be doing, like, to have this happen to them. So like I'm not really sure what it is, but it's just weird to see like these middle of the afternoon start times, especially on a weekday. Like the season starts on a Tuesday. So like 5:30 on a Tuesday, nobody's really looking forward to anything then. So it's just like, oh, there's a hockey game on. Okay. Like if you're not really if you're not following it, it's just like, okay, like why is there a hockey game on? That's weird, and you just keep moving. Like it's not going to catch anybody unless they're like sitting around doing absolutely nothing, or like there's nothing else on.
No, like I said, I agree with that. Like I said, when I saw that start time, I was kind of like, wow, that's kind of a weird start time. But again, I could feel like, I guess they did want to get people started on that game and then roll right into the Bedard and Blackhawks versus Sid and the Penguins game. So again, that's kind of the throwaway game because again, I was even thinking, I'm like Nashville and Tampa. I mean, Nashville's is not a good team. They might compete, but it's one of those they couldn't teams. And Tampa Bay's on. I feel like on the down.
Yeah.
You know, why would why that kind of game is just like again, it feels like just a throwaway game, just for to have say, hey, we have a triple header.
Uh, which is, I guess, fine if that's what ESPN wants to do. But yeah, I say just make it either a doubleheader that night, or like have two games that night, or find a different time. Like, there's just so many. I feel like there's better ways than 5:30 in the afternoon to do that for Tampa Bay.
There you go.
But one last thing I wanted to bring up because I just thought it was cute with the NFL. Did you see the Toy Story game on Sunday?
That's so funny you brought that up. I didn't watch it, but it is on Disney Plus right now, and
Okay.
I did see TikToks and highlights and stuff about it. I mean, do you feel like hockey should do something like that? I think I would actually enjoy and watch that.
They did something like that already last season.
Oh, okay.
They used a Disney show called Big City Greens. I'm not really sure what it's really
I've never
about.
heard that. Okay.
It's based. The show itself is based in Manhattan, so they did it during a Rangers home game. It was Rangers Capitals.
Okay.
And that itself was the first time they ever tried it, and you could tell it was the first time they tried it because it just looked weird. But you could tell with the Toy Story one, they did so much more work with it, and
absolutely.
It just looked really cool because like
it did.
I love Toy Story. Toy Story is my favorite Disney franchise of all time, so it's
cannot disagree with that, my man. Didn't disagree with that. But yeah, I would love to see that in a hockey game, especially
Absolutely.
when you got the technology now and the advancements with that Toy Story game, where you have 22 players on the field, and there was glitches here and there, but there wasn't that many glitches. I mean, if you can go to a 5-on-5 scenario, it would probably be, less pixels and everything. It'd probably make it a little more clear.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a really good idea for them to try to do and try to capitalize on, especially if you have the Disney properties to make it work. It's a really cute idea to get like more kids watching sports because like it could be a really good invitation to like if they watch the Toy Story game, they may want to start playing football themselves or hockey or whatever sport it is. It could be anything, but like it's just a cute way to get kids involved, I feel like. So I feel like it was an A+ job by Disney the other day doing that. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up just in case you saw it.
Oh no, I definitely see, and I give them an A for that for that Toy Story game. Especially compared to the last couple of years with the playoff games, the NFL playoff games when they had the Slime Time broadcast with Nickelodeon, which was really, I feel like it kind of took away from the game. I like the concept of having a regular broadcast and then having something like the Toy Story where it's way out of whack. It's like a totally different experience. Where the Slime Time is they're just trying to throw graphics into an NFL game.
It becomes a lot to a certain extent because of how much can happen in an NFL game. Like I remember watching like highlights of those games. A player scored a touchdown and like 7 different things happened, and it was way too much. It was overwhelming to watch.
Yeah, especially now with like kids with nowadays with the sensitive sensories, with the oversensory, kind of things, and the ADD, and a lot of kids are autistic now. I mean, it feels like you can't throw too much on a screen right now to you'll mess these kids up. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I feel like the Disney one with the Toy Story, I think was a perfect start to maybe a new era here, in sports broadcasting where you're going to have, just fun, interactive, kind of like the Manning cast on Monday night games. Just a fun interaction where you're just not sitting. I mean, if you're not a fan of that team and you want to listen to Peyton and Eli talk about football and just talk with celebrities and stuff, but you're not really invested in the game. I mean, I feel like that's a great alternative compared to just sitting there and listening to maybe like the ESPN guys, just talk about stuff that you don't even care about. Like, nothing you care about. The Mannings will make it entertaining. like I said, the Toy Story thing I think made it a little more entertaining. I think we're getting to that era now where we're gonna get a lot of alternate broadcasts of different national games at least. I don't think the the salaries and like the money's there for local broadcasts to do stuff like that. But say, like I said, coming up with the Stadium Series games, I'd be okay with it if they did, a Devil's Flyers, whatever cartoon simulation on Disney Plus.
I I feel like you could definitely find a way to make it work. I feel like it would be. I feel like there's definitely ways to. I feel like there's definitely different ways to make that work, especially for an outdoor game. You have so many different like avenues to go down for that.
The only thing I thought about that was with the hockey thing is it's a Disney product. There's fighting. What are those characters going to look like when they're going at each other?
It's gonna. Think. Uh, I think for the Rangers broadcast when they did it, I think it just kind of looked like one of those old school fights with like a big dust cloud and like fists going everywhere and just it's straight goofy.
It's gonna look like Wii Boxing on it's gonna look like Wii Boxing. That's exactly what it's gonna look like. Two sides of the screen where the characters are just going.
That's.
So on that note,
yes. On that note, gang, I think we'll let y'all go. I think we'll let y'all go. I just had a had a Mitch McConnell stroke there trying to get that out. But gang, we're gonna let y'all go.
At least not doing a Feinstein, so it's all good.
God bless.
God bless.
But gang, thank you so much for joining us on this first episode of What the Puck. It was an absolute pleasure to talk to y'all. We had so much fun here for the past hour. Gunk, it was great talking to you. We'll talk to you next week once the regular season starts, and we could start talking about that, baby. It's almost hockey time.
Oh, it's almost hockey time. We're less than a week away. Tonight, Rangers Devils on MSG. Be there, be square, baby, because I know I will be sitting here watching it on my little chair with my big TV and a little bit of puff puff.
Amen, brother. Gang, I will be there too. I will be watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We love yous. Gang, peace.
Yes, sir.